Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Chupo reaction. And this is one, again, I wanted to do, and I finally have the time to do it. This is the bizarre lore to Jetpack Joyride, which, again, if you haven't heard of it, it's a mobile game of a similar vintage, that's the right word, to Subway Surfer. It's around that same age, but instead of running, up the screen, you're running to the left, as well as flying on a jetpack that can be anything from a traditional jetpack to a minigun that shoots straight down, to sharks, to all sorts of different things. And again, it's one of those things that for the longest time, I looked at and wanted to play a lot when I was a little kid, when I didn't have, a touchscreen phone. But then I kind of forgot, and then was really surprised when I rediscovered that it was in fact still a thing. And the funny thing is, I actually discovered that this Jetpack Joyride had this weird little animated show before I discovered that Subway Surfers or Talking Tom had a show. And I only discovered that those had, animated shows after, watching Chupo. So, given what I've seen in the past from Chupo, I'm gonna guess that the majority of the lore for Jetpack Joyride comes from the show in some way or form. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lollygag about this, so we should probably get into it. So, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video leads to my Let's Play of the day. And yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
Jetpack Joyride has remained a staple in gaming for years at this point, and throughout all this time, an incoherent and overall absurd story has been created that almost nobody has seemed to recognize. So let's take a look at what to make of the funny Jetpack game. Hi everybody, I'm here at the mall. I love products. I love to consume products. I'm gonna consume so many products and buy so many things. The only thing more important than my blood flowing is money flowing in the economy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm loitering so I can steal handbags from old ladies. Not a big deal. So Jetpack Joyride has always stuck in my mind for a few reasons. Fun enough game, a good main theme, and a main character who we're gonna follow and grow real accustomed to real quick. Jetpack Joyride follows Barrett McStinkington Friesenhausen, better known as just Barry Steak Fries.
Oh god. This is a big McLarge huge level name. Oh no, I love it.
Big McLarge huge.
Slab bulkhead.
Fridge large meats.
Punt speed chunk.
Butch deadlift. Bolt Vander huge.
Thick McRun fast. We put our faith in blast hard cheese.
Is an Australian anti-hero with a lower intelligence and zero respect for his own life. The Jetpack Joyride saga starts on September 1st, 2011 with the game of the same name. Initially, Barry was a gramophone salesman. I'm sure a lot of you don't know what a gramophone is.
Gramophone salesman?
Yeah, obviously, sales aren't too high. One of his stops of the day is Legitimate Research Labs, and this is where he spots the ever-iconic jetpack. And then he thinks about how life could be, how his entire life could just be perfect with this jetpack. So immediately, somehow, he barges through the concrete wall. Holy shit, he's strong. He nabs the jetpack.
Well, gramophones are pretty heavy. He's probably built up a lot of muscle over the years having to lug those things around, especially if he's not selling any.
To go on a joyride. From this point on, he runs through the labs, causing chaos along the way, and the labs are long, practically an endless hallway. He keeps running through it. No reason to stop. He just keeps going. Then at some point every day, he gets lasered or rocketed, or sometimes escapes with the jetpack. But this jetpack uses bullets as fuel, and not only is that extremely fatal for all the scientists down below, but he also eventually will run out of ammo to shoot. So every day there's another jetpack waiting for him, meaning that every single day he walks to the lab, breaks in again, and once again steals this jetpack with all the new fuel and goes on some other wacky adventures. Rinse and repeat. He's been doing this for years. There's not much of an incentive otherwise.
Yeah, the dragon, I forgot about that.
Who found an infinite jetpack glitch. I don't know why the iconic jetpack backpack shoots bullets and somehow Barry's legs never get hurt in any way, but maybe someday I can go on a jetpack joyride myself and live my Barry.
Oh god. Okay, so, the idea that each run that you play is a subsequent day, and this has been going on for over 10 years, and quite literally, they just keep making new jetpacks for him to steal. Who are the higher-ups here, and, why are they asleep?
Now this is Professor Brains. He's also named Barry and is the owner of the Legitimate Research Labs, which is also owned by the Really Bad Corporation. And this is a league of overall just not very good people in my humble opinion. It's safe to assume that on any day where Barry is not directly showing it, Barry spends his years breaking the same wall every day, rampaging down the labs until he physically cannot. I'm pretty sure he's doing it out of spite. His belief system is that destruction, stealing, war crimes, all that is allowed to be done on people or things he considers morally wrong. However, the scientists themselves, you know, just the random guys working here, outside of the casualties, they have a pretty nice relationship with Barry. The scientists make all these gadgets and Barry steals most of them, and obviously a few of the scientists are upset about that, but a majority of them are okay with it. Like one scientist made the Prophet Bird to be an ATM for tall people, he made the Dragon for welding and repairing planes mid-flight, and the robot dog Flash for being a dog, and Barry...
Just all of that. An ATM for tall people. I mean, at this point, this entire lab is just one giant make-work project.
He takes all of those away just because he can. He sees it as property of the lab and wants to steal it because he doesn't trust the lab. Some of the other gadgets stolen included the air berries, shoes meant specifically for jumping high, and the strong arm machine, more commonly known as just Sam, because one of the scientists wanted more high fives. It's a complicated relationship, but you know what? It works. At one point in one of the shorts, because they're shorts, you know, it's a mobile game, of course there's gonna be shorts, he befriends a specific scientist that he names Craig. These are a collection of mini cartoons going through some of Barry's antics. For example, one Christmas, specifically in 2015, he becomes a substitute for Santa, and both of them are like 6 out of 10 Santas, by the way. They're just very average. Barry accidentally gives the main one a seizure and nearly ruins the holiday, but he doesn't. Instead, he just ruins at least one wall per every household.
Okay, so he gives Santa a seizure, and then instead of going down the chimney, he just goes through the wall. God, I'm loving this already. It's so stupid.
The chimneys were too small, I guess. I don't know. This is unnecessary. Another time, we learned that he's got a serious problem with ripping off his shirt sleeves whenever anything happens. He was exposed to it at a young age. It becomes second nature. It's actually quite sad how few measures are taken against exposure to ripping off shirt sleeves at a young age. Also, do you know how hard it is to rip your sleeves off of a suit like this? These moments give me a good idea of the type of person Barry is. He is a chaotic but typically good person, justifying what many of us would consider immoral with his simplified logic on harming bad things equals okay. That's very much what made him become...
Yes, because if you punch a nuke till it explodes, it is a net good, and the destruction that the nuke exploding caused, it doesn't really matter because you did it in the name of good.
A hero. His rash actions without hesitation that led him into getting the jetpack in the first place. At the same time, he's just like any one of us. He has goals, serious procrastination problems and time management skills, loves high fives, and likes movies. He's been shown watching Karate Kid and Rocky IV, and when given the chance to play Marty in a Back to the Future remake that I really hope I didn't speak into existence, Barry goes a little nuts trying to take over the role of Marty in this story. I'm sure we'll find out why Barry likes Back to the Future someday. Probably for a wholesome reason. So next up is August 29th, 2019. The main collection of...
Oh god, no. Is he gonna have a thing for his mother? Oh no!
Jetpack Joyride shorts with a narrative technically overarching. Like there's not a major story being told, but these are episodic adventures that are in order. After 8 years of going through legitimate research, failing every other aspect of his life, falling into severe debt from his shirt sleeve fees, and being entirely unsuccessful within his love life, assuming you don't count jetpacks, which I feel like that's more of a friends with benefits thing. One day, he does, in fact, finish the endless run. He gets to the end. The laboratory runs out of horizontalness, and he makes it to the stairs leading to the second floor. It's something that Barry never even reached or knew about. It's nothing. Just a bad ending. It gives Barry severe depression, and from here he befriends Craig and develops a fear of endings. It truly is the end of the line. And at a bar with Craig, he discovers the Really Bad Corp, where Professor Brains and the other members have all crafted really, really, really long hallways as their lairs. All
you gotta love, he has a phobia of endings because he actually reached level 2. That is... I mean, I guess for a character whose, only gameplay is a runner, I guess that would technically be the worst thing, because then it's like, it's just another fail state. Instead of running forever, there is a finite end to your existence. Jeez.
All of them did this for some reason, giving Barry a new purpose to reach all of those hallways. He gets a long, hard longing for the long. And he doesn't pursue this for years. And then the leader, Glorabax, that's a horrible name. He doesn't take all this new information too well, so in episode 2, he shuts down Brain's operation, and in response, he crushes the dude with a 100-ton weight and takes over Really Bad Corp. He then explodes. In episode 3, Brains watches the first half of the Sonic...
Things escalated very quickly there.
OVA movie. He thinks Metal Sonic is cool and awesome and badass and gunk. He is. So he makes Robo Barry, that is programmed to be exactly like Barry, but evil. And this also fails. Nothing... It actually goes against him. It backfires. They become friends, and Robo Barry sacrifices himself for his new fleshy clone friend. It's really sad. And then in episode...
But I thought he was supposed to be evil. So wait, would that potentially mean that Barry is evil and the robot was good because it was supposed to be the opposite? Nope, I'm gonna think about it.
Episode 4, Barry wants a rainbow jetpack. He then ruins it when he forgot to buy the necessary battery packs sold separately. And also, one of the other Really Bad Corp villains, the Minotaur, no, not the other kind, like a dig miner, operates under the labs. I'm sure he's quite lovely. And that's Jetpack Joyride, but not the end of Barry. He's the mascot of Half Brick Studios, meaning that every game he's in is in fact canon to this one. In order for me to count it just has to have Barry make an official appearance. Along with that, we got some sequels, and all of them.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was a
I
thought there was a Jetpack Joyride 2. I've never actually played it though.
Are not sequels in gameplay, but in story. First up, we got Monster Dash, taking anywhere after Jetpack Joyride, so somewhere between September 2nd, 2011 to the heat death of the universe. Doesn't really matter. By the way, this is a time travel story now? Always time travel or multiverse, one or the other, always minimum. And
again, these mobile games. Why is there always dimensional travel in the mobile games? Can you not think of anything better?
Always gonna end up like this. It never ends. Trust
me. It never does.
Barry finds himself in spooky places, and now without a jetpack, he's gotta run on over and get to the professor. Surprisingly, this is very similar to Barry's lab raids. It's just that this time he's not slaughtering what I would consider innocent-ish scientists, instead opting for monsters terrorizing the public. He also becomes a Ghostbuster for a little bit, but not like an actor, just like a legitimate Ghostbuster.
I mean, I guess... killing zombies is better than, killing normal people just doing their job.
At some point, this monster invasion will expand to a zombie one across the timeline, leading to the Age of Zombies. And since this is a time travel zombie game, time points don't really matter. First off, I don't like how Barry looks. He looks like an expired steak fry, and I really gotta stress this again. This is another time travel adventure with the professor sending out zombies to plenty of eras. And I love time travel. I love me some going to other eras. Woohoo! Time travel has never been done before. It'll never happen again. The main concern with the zombies is them infecting the populations. Like, if someone from 500 years ago gets infected by a zombie, potentially hundreds of modern-day people will cease to exist. And obviously, I think that's probably
that's
a
kind
bad
of important.
Thing, but it also might not be, because if they cease to exist, no one would remember them or their contributions to the world, and actually, Professor Brains could accidentally ruin his own bloodline, or just time travel and strangle Baby Barry. This is too much. I don't care anymore. Right?
Again, these mobile games, they always go with either time travel or multiverse theory, and it's just it's never thought out.
As he starts, Barry will join forces with Abraham Lincoln, no gimmicks, former president of the United States, is also here to help Barry with this adventure specifically. In order, Barry goes to prehistoric times and fights a zombie T-Rex that Barry essentially adopts in later adventures. Then he goes to the 1930s where he destroys an infected mafia. Ancient Egypt, he meets Prince Runningham, who will give Barry some sort of reward once.
Sorry, this went by so quickly. I'm still mentally on the Abraham Lincoln thing. So does this mean he dropped the axe for the shotgun?
Once he saves the day, then he goes to Japan and fights zombie samurai. This feels like something an 11-year-old came up with. But in the end, Barry returns to the future. Professor Brains has been fusing zombies with modern technology, like you do. I can't even make a comparison. What the hell even is this? Then he dies. As a reward, Barry receives immortality, and this is the face of a man who cannot die. Not Abraham Lincoln, though. He would decline the offer of immortality and return home for a lovely evening with his wife at the ever-iconic Ford's Theater.
Well, I mean, immortality does not mean invincibility. He just won't die of old age now. He can still die of anything else. I just opened my eyes and I see this picture. What is this? This almost looks like a meme. What is... Oh, God.
And nothing bad will happen. Oh, also, there's like a Wild West DLC. Barry temporarily has to real quick save a small town, and it ends with Barry meeting a woman who not only looks like she's related to him, but shares the same name as his grandmother. And then, after this revelation, she takes Barry home, and then they play Trivial Pursuit together.
Oh, God, the idea that, given, you know, what was said in the, you know, the Back to the Future segment, I can't help but wonder if he's both his grandfather and his father, so then he's like triple inbred or something like that with himself? Oh no, that's just, no.
I understand why Barry likes Back to the Future now. So this is where things get a little silly, a little goofy, some giggles and laughs, and I'm not hyping it up.
No.
There is a multiverse. Are you honestly shocked, though? Barry Steak Fries is a big mascot of a parent company, Half Brick Studios, and as such, any game where he exists is therefore canon. One of the most prominent Barry-adjacent things is the Barry Vlogs. There's over 100 of these things, and they're kinda neat. Barry spends 8 to 10 minutes answering questions, promoting things happening in the games, announcing updates, stuff like that. He also looks like an owl, which are one of the scariest animals. I don't care what you think or say. These things horrify me, and I hope they upset you as well. Why does he look like a provoked chimp? Now, I got a few takeaways from these. Like, did you know that TMNT and Metal Slug, of all things, crossed over? When Smash Bros. Ultimate was doing their DLC packs, Barry made an entire episode asking to be in the game. Simultaneously, that's really funny, but also hate to break it to you guys at home, but Barry deserves a spot more than like a quarter of the roster. It's been
God. Just the idea. Can you imagine what sort of... Would the world be worse or better if, like... if the Jetpack Joyride... If Barry from Jetpack Joyride was in the game before, like, something like Bayonetta or Sans? What kind of butterflies would have that caused?
10 years, genuinely who asked for corn. Perhaps one of the most important reveals is his ongoing rivalry with the other major Half-Brick mascot, Dan the Man. Not with the Fruit Ninja because they own Fruit Ninja, or the Blob because they worked on the Blob 2. This...
Wait, really? They did? Jeez, okay, that's surprising.
Ginger freak. On October 6, 2016, Dan the Man happens. I'm gonna be so honest, this is a beat-em-up platformer with its own stories, own characters, own franchise. I do not want to talk about it at all. And you guys gotta understand that I contemplated it. I spun the Chupo bias wheel and everything. I don't wanna.
Bias wheel.
Try to stop me. I don't care. Don't really care for it, especially right now. Just for now, with the context and shit. Dan is, in fact, the man. Until Barry shows up, they're rivals, probably competing for the position of Half-Brick's primary mascot, which is ridiculous when you consider the Fruit Ninja is also there, and in my opinion, better. Why are you fighting a toddler when their steroids-riddled father is standing right there? There's a better candidate for everything.
Oh,
At
God.
some point across Age of Zombies, Barry and Dan will team up. Professor Brains warps himself in Barry, so in my humble thicket of an opinion, that's no good. He has to die again. And for some reason, the scientists fight back now. I don't...
I mean... Again, there's time travel and multiverse, so I mean, there's just an infinite number of Dr. Brains now. You can just pull and literally pluck from the multiverse and put into the story. He's always going to be the villain now.
I think it matters, though. These two are equally unhinged. The only difference is that one of them looks like a frightened pug. Another game we got is Rascals. This is Rascals. The Living Skulls have a pirate problem. Cute pun, still a problem. They invade while looking for a cheese planet that they think is the Rascal planet. Then they run out of fuel, and the Rascal King decides to hold a tournament to find out who stole the MacGuffin thingies that...
Rascals, that's one I've never heard of before. Gee, when was that made? 2010? Oh, geez, okay. Oh, Xbox 360, that's probably it. Interesting. Weird.
They're magic. The cheese they thought was on this planet, it was lava, by the way. I don't even know what this game is, but it's done now. And Barry is also here, he's in the multiplayer. Okay, next thing. But we got Star Skater, sort of ugly game, very, very lovely everything else. They made him a cube. Oh, yep, this is the face of a man of endless ambitions. There's a couple crossovers as well. I don't think they matter all too much, but Barry's in them. So, yeah, let's just graze through them all. We got Magic Brick Wars and Battle Racing Stars. These are like the all-stars of all the half-brick properties combining and fighting. Jetpack Joyride sure is here. Horrifying in 3D, I mean. And time out for a second.
Not Barry and Gary's mod, no!
I'm gonna be so honest. Barry and Jetpack Joyride as a whole really feels like the people behind the scenes are trying to make him like this massive character. Like, it's one thing to have him be in these crossover cameos. That's like an expectation for all mobile game franchises. But when I look at things like the vlogs and everything correlating to it, it feels a bit desperate. Like just a tad. When I look at these videos, I can't help but feel a smidge of pity. It feels like Barry himself is begging for all of us to love him. It's him fishing for compliments, asking for Q&A topics, asking to be recognized as an icon in Smash Brothers. Like he knows how iconic he is, but struggles to be any greater. It's almost bad as Angry Birds last time I checked, but only one of them has an entire empire and an official Roblox server. I wince when I see Barry do.
Wait, I'm sorry. Angry Birds official Roblox server? What do you do in that? Bird Island, take a drive the island, race hatchlings, destroy towers, cause ma'am, in the new and improved version of Bird Island. This is just weird.
Stuff like this, because I imagine trying to justify my existence and hoping to move up in the world. I look at Barry Steak Fries Jetpack Joyride and I see a reflection of myself. But that's not of concern, not to you, stupid child who already commented on this video asking me to cover something I don't hold a flake of interest in. Instead, let's mosey on over and look at the modernmost point in this series. Did you know that there's comics? I say comics as a plural, but very hesitantly. There is a single issue and then like 2 short stories. This hardly counts as a series. The short stories are really just about Barry swapping out his jetpacks. They run out of fuel as the scientists are kind enough to provide him with new ones, like you do. And then we got another single comic thing that'll amount to another silly serialized antic adventure that we've become accustomed to.
Jeez, they're... Okay, now I'm thinking, they are... Yeah, Chupo was right. They're really pushing him. Because, like, okay, I've gotten used to the whole thing of, like, these mobile games and stuff like that having, like, shows at this point. Like, on YouTube. But, comics, so many crossovers. Trying to get him into Smash. Like, all this is just starting to reek of desperation.
Before we cover it, I really need to let you know that I already hate this thing. I found out I could get it for free, and so when the Google results claimed it was a free PDF, I then spent like 2 hours trying to download it. But honestly, I have no idea if I was stupid or something, but I couldn't download it. I couldn't even pirate it if I wanted to. Literally nobody cared about this thing existing. There is not a single digital copy online that is just pirated.
Why are you looking at the fish person with your hand like that? What is going on?
Or on a YouTube video or anything. It was too much work for too little of a thing. I despised the cubic man grimacing with delight. So one day Barry does his normal jetpack theft. This time he goes through glass, so already something's up. Turns out the scientists made a teleporter, sending Barry to a fish world. And as a bonus, they accidentally warped a coworker they all don't like. Woohoo! Manslaughter. So Barry ends up in the fish world, cleverly named Water, as the king invites Barry to compete in a race where the winner gets a spaceship that will take him home with no problem. It's also revealed here by the scientist that was also dropped here that most of their memories get erased when they get a job at the labs. Why would you work there? How many genius level scientists are okay with their memories being erased? It doesn't really matter.
I mean, granted, I wouldn't be surprised if, it being an evil corporation. I mean, most people don't want to be evil, so I'd imagine they give really good benefits.
Barry meets a fish named 17 who reveals the race has flying sharks, and that's not a good thing. We're gonna have to make sure that shark thing doesn't really, So the scientist lady installs a shark-proof app on the jetpack. Don't know how that works. 17 dies. Rest in peace, talking fish.
Shark-proof app? What?
I introduced 15 seconds ago, and they make it back, where the useless-ish lady reveals that she's a corrupt scientist and a lawyer suing Barry for $53 million. I love the effort, love the heart there, but you are out of your goddamn mind if you think this creature's gonna be anywhere near a courtroom voluntarily.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have to be tied up in some sort of straitjacket, just, you know, to get him in the room.
Then we got Jetpack Joyride 2 on August 19th of 2022. This is a genuinely good continuation of the story. All the villains from the League at the start have their own endless hallways, so Barry's gonna go through each base and take down each respective member of Really Bad Corp, including the Minotaur. He's back. There's even a few scientists finally deciding to fight back for real, using their minds, you know, the weapon they have. They fail, but we love the effort. And on the hero side, there's even more friends. Flash is still here, Craig is acting as a guide, Robo Barry is somehow alive, and we like Robo Barry, this is a good thing. And then there's Betty Beef Pies, who is an alternate Barry from another part of the multiverse.
Yeah, well, I mean, granted, I don't think out of any of these, you know, mobile game series yet, we've seen the gender-bent multiverse character. So, I mean, you gotta give, you know, Jetpack Joyride, you know, a bit of applause there. They've done something original so far.
I can't even be mad at the idea of a multiverse. Just everyone's doing it intentionally or an accident. Yeah, damn. There are 3 things that are guaranteed in life: death, being sad as you watch your parents get older and regret not appreciating them more, and the inevitable inclusion of a multiverse in a franchise that is designed for dumb baby children. It would be 4, but taxes are optional. And that's honestly it. I can't be all too upset about this series. Like, it makes sense as a story. It's gonna keep adding more and more content, and actually we have an idea of what's coming next. Halfbreak Studios have already confirmed there's gonna be a full animated series online. I was considering delaying this indefinitely until it released, but I mean, you made it this far. I feel like you can tell I didn't. Go support Barry when this releases. It would mean a lot to him. He needs the love, guys. And then we got Age of Zombies 2. Apparently this is under testing right now, but it is in fact happening. Based on what's been shown off, this is going to be another 3D adventure, which I for one am concerned for. If there's anything that scares me more than 2D Barry, it's got to be 3D Barry. Scarier than the Geico Gecko. By the way, based on the Geico commercial, either Barry is unfathomably short or the gecko is horrifyingly tall.
God, all of those, I completely forgot about those weird Geico, like, crossover commercials. I didn't know they made one for Jetpack Joyride, though. And given that he's a sentient gecko, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that the gecko is very tall. Well, actually both. Maybe Barry is just shorter than normal, but then the gecko is just unusually large as well.
I am fearful of both. I don't want the jetpack guy crawling up my leg, and I don't want the gecko to help me move into a studio apartment. Now, plot-wise, I have a vague idea of what to expect. I held off sharing this fun fact, but at the end of Age of Zombies, Professor Brains actually discovers that he's not real. Yep! C-list video game character Professor Brains is a fictional character, and he knows it. So rather than embrace nihilism and accept how futile his existence is as a bundle of coding, he actually remains composed from his hard-earned indomitable human spirit, and then decides to invade other games and take them over. So rather than give up on what could be considered a meaningless existence, the professor is going to pursue his evil dreams across other worlds, whether or not Barry wants to be a part of it. And, spoilers, he's perfectly fine with going to other worlds. Friendly reminder, Barry is still immortal, and unfortunately there is a non-zero chance Barry Steak Fries is going to find you. Oh.
Okay, so the doctor knows that he's fake. Oh no, what kind of weird... Well, I mean, we already had the multiverse and time travel, now they're putting in, you know, existential dread into the mix.
We do. It's time for me to say goodbye to you. Guilt statistic, use my gamer subs code. It's Choopo, C-H-O-O-P-O. I don't know how people mispronounce it or misspell it. And like Professor Brains, don't be a nihilist. Life is what you make of it. So, you know, make something of it. Well, guys, I was too lazy to animate me buying or finding this jetpack in a creative way, but I'm gonna do the thing now. I'm truly gonna go on a Jetpack Joyride.
He blew off his legs, didn't he? I swear, these mobile games, they are both, like, so much larger than I thought they initially were, but at the same time, so much smaller as well. And it's the fact that every single one of them has an animated series. It somehow involves the multiverse, seemingly trying to be so much bigger than they actually are. Like, I understand, you know, trying to grow the brand, but at the same time, you have to try to... Like, unless you're going to move away from having all of your games just be mobile games and try to make something on a console or PC or something like that, you have to kind of understand, you know, stay in your lane, because otherwise you just start looking stupid. So, yeah, that's going to be it for now. It's So yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it yet for some reason. Corner video link to my Let's Play of the day. And yeah, that's going to be it for now. I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.